Remember when we got the real Super Mario Bros. 2 as part of Super Mario All-Stars for the SNES? It was renamed the Lost Levels because I guess these levels were lost to everyone outside of Japan. Just kind of makes sense, right? So back in the NES days, we got Doki Doki Panic reskinned with Mario characters as Mario 2 instead of the true game, because ultimately Nintendo of America thought the real Mario 2 was way too difficult for our weak baby hands and minds in North America. You know, finding all that out and finally getting to play these lost levels, I didn't really care. You know, and I had an even larger appreciation for what we got as Super Mario 2 back in the day. I mean, I really enjoyed the game, and I still do. You know, Mario 2 introduced a lot to the series that changed things up, kept it fresh at the time. You know, I don't think anyone really cared back then. But today, I don't want to talk much more on those lost levels, but I want to speak on and showcase what I consider to be lost levels that are 100% official from Nintendo that I don't think as many people have played or even know about. And if you're not aware of this awesomeness, I think it's worth seeking out and playing. So back in 2003, we got the Mario All-Stars version of Super Mario 3 released on the Game Boy Advance as Super Mario Advance 4. Yeah, that series naming was kind of odd looking back on it. And like, for real, which game is 4? Oh, it's Mario 3. Kind of ridiculous. But, you know, this version of the game, it did have extras. It had voices from Charles Martinet and a multiplayer mode tacked on that was a version of the original Mario Bros. Arcade game. So it had a lot of cool stuff going for it, depending on how you wanted to look at it, right? But even more interesting with this release of Super Mario 3 was that the game had e-reader support and a series of cards made for it to go along with the e-reader. The game also originally came with e-reader cards when it first went to retail, which later versions didn't come with as a bonus after a while. Walmart even had exclusive cards bundled with the game. The e-reader was interesting in its use as there were cards that allowed you to play NES games, get items for Animal Crossing on the GameCube, new trainer battles in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, and, you know, there was a few more uses of it. But one of the more complicated uses was the Mario Advance 4 cards. To use them required obviously an e-reader and a copy of Mario Advance 4. That's a given. But also you needed 2 Game Boy Advance systems and a link cable. I don't think too many people had 2 Game Boy Advances at the time, but I guess you could partner up with a friend or someone to utilize these cards, right? But really, it was probably more of a hassle than what people may have assumed it was worth at the time. I remember getting some of these cards, and I knew a few people who collected them as well, but for Mario Advance 4, I never knew anyone to actually use them other than just to collect them to check them out. So it really seems like not as many had access to what was unlocked using these e-reader cards. So the Mario cards, they did a few things. There's 3 types of cards. You had item cards, which gave you power-up items in-game. Demo cards that essentially showed Mario running through a level, demoing special tricks and whatnot. Kind of like a tip card that would show a video, I suppose. And then there were level cards. These were a big deal. You would unlock special stages that had, you know, some of them utilized different ideas than what was normally in Mario 3. You had aspects of other Mario games like Mario 2's picking up and throwing vegetables and the cape from Mario World. Kind of like a little remix thing going on here. In Japan, there was a total of 38 levels you could get using these cards. In North America, we only got 12. Apparently, Europe didn't get the e-readers, so they had no cool-ass extra levels to play. So, in these levels, they all had various amounts of A coins you could collect, and some levels had E coins. Now, collecting the E coins would put them on display in the castle, and after collecting certain amounts of A coins, you would unlock the Toad Houses on the map. Now, each Toad House had a special mini-game you could play to win extra items and lives and whatnot. You know, extra lives definitely come in handy as some of these special stages are a little difficult. Now, unfortunately, in North America, since not all the cards were released, you could only access one of the Toad Houses, and not all of the E-coins were available. Obviously, not all the A-coins as well, because you didn't have all the levels that had them. So even if you could get the required pieces together outside of Japan, you never had access to everything that was made. That sucked. The idea was interesting because these levels weren't actually on the cartridge. It wasn't like some kind of DLC unlock. They were put together from the information on the e-reader cards when you scan them in. So the thought of Nintendo making more and more levels sounded pretty cool, but that just never happened as the e-reader, just wasn't very popular and was discontinued fairly early on in North America. Did quite a bit better in Japan, which is why they continued to produce it and had more cards than we did for Mario 3 and other games. Now, access to these unique levels was fairly rare up until 2016. So the Wii U got a version of Mario Advance 4 on its Virtual Console that year that contained all 38 e-reader levels. Not just the North American levels, you got everything. No other access to e-reader cards was incorporated in this release, so no demos or bonus items, but these levels had been essentially lost for years to many people, so it was a welcome surprise. The Wii U version of the game may be considered to some as the ultimate version of Mario 3 because of the inclusion of these levels. And as a result of the game being released on the Wii U, we eventually got a patch for the Game Boy Advance ROM that added that missing content. So, if you are without a Wii U, you could still play that version of the game via emulation or on a flash cart or repro cart on original or clone hardware. I would hope this version of the game would get further official re-releases, but you just never know with Nintendo. If you want to buy the game on the Wii U eShop, you only have a short time before it's officially shut down and you lose access officially to it. Obviously there are other ways to get the game on the Wii U now and will continue to be after the eShop closes, but this is the unfortunate aspect of digital only and digital storefronts from companies who do not wish to keep them going past the console's life cycle. There's always a way, so if you haven't played this game, I highly recommend it. Numerous ways to try it, and I think if you're a fan of classic Super Mario games, you will enjoy what this version of Mario 3 has to offer. But really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me on this one. Love this game. Just wanted to share with you guys. I know, a good number of you know about this one, but it was one I've been meaning to talk about for quite some time now. And for those who weren't aware of it, get on it, man. It's a great one. Appreciate you guys. Bye.